If you're searching for a wrestling podcast that's filled with fun.
This is definitely Davey Boy Smith's fucking moment.
He goes, he fell on his ass. He fell on his ass.
Couple of haters.
Couple haters.
That's hated.
Wrestling nostalgia.
I will take you back to May 26th, 1996. It was a stormy night. The wind was howling.
Latest pro wrestling news and rumours.
We've heard about the situations between WWE, Sasha Banks and Naomi.
And hilarious tangents.
Let's not tangent off. No Samoan spikes.
That's it.
Fucking tangents.
Then look no further. Join your hosts James, Stu and Jonny and subscribe to Top Turnbuckle Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 9 of Top Turnbuckle Podcast with me, Stu.
And me, James.
And here's Jonny.
Hey! He's back again.
Yes, in the words of Eric Bischoff, Easy E, I'm back and better than ever.
Are we all recovered now from our Johnny's last week?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah. Just about.
It's really funny, I think, because a lot of the stuff that made us more tired was not actually the event, was it?
No, it's very true.
We had some really funny occurrences in Wales.
Some strange things happened, yes.
Yeah, we've got a few stories that we'll talk about later on with our Clash at the Castle best and worst moment. And I'm sure we'll give a few more, stories about what happened
there's a few
before and after.
yes,
But nevertheless, we shall carry on. With our topics this week, we've got our top 3 best entrances ever and our best and worst moments of Clash at the Castle. And as we always end up with our news subject, everything that's been going on in the last month of pro wrestling.
Yep, and there's been a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I was just to say though, it's nice to be back again. Obviously, I missed the last episode.
Shame on you.
I was a bit under the weather, let's say, and it kind of hit me hard, maybe harder than a alleged Vince McMahon lawsuit. Hush money investigation, shall we say? Allegedly.
That's the forgetting that word.
But as in wrestling, the show must go on, and you guys did a great job, and it was nice to just kind of sit back and listen for a change.
Yeah, it was a difficult one actually, wasn't it? It felt like, because obviously me and Stu started, and we got on fine, but it felt like when we first started that something was missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, stop, I'm going to get upset.
It did. It honestly did. When we actually started, we were like,
something's not right.
Yeah.
If anyone does get upset, there's some tissue on the table. So
I've got a little tear in my eye.
To quote the streets, dry your eyes, mate.
Oh dear.
Right, so shall we get on with our first topic, our top 3s?
Yeah. Well, before you jump in, do you want to just mention the website and the winner of the last competition?
We did our competition draw live on Facebook earlier, and we just wanted to say a quick congratulations to Rob Shepherd.
Yes.
He was the lucky winner that was drawn out of our little pot by
the Undertaker.
Special and James.
It was actually me. It
wasn't
Taker.
Yeah.
Taker was too busy messing about on the fucking floor.
I don't know what he was doing. He was getting carried away.
In dog shit. But also, more importantly, we'd like to say a huge thank you to 3 Count Wrestling Merchandise, who have supplied us with our competition prizes. The amazing mystery boxes that have been supplied to us over the last few months are brilliant.
Thank you. They are amazing as well. We never know what's actually going to be in them, and they're great prizes. Like who won the last competition?
Chris Francis won the last one. Yeah.
And the things he had in his box, there was a T-shirt, DVD box sets, figures.
Such a cool Andre the Giant T-shirt.
That was good,
massively jealous of that.
Yeah.
If I went on here now, I'd be entering in these competitions.
Yeah, we massively shit the bed with that one, really, not being able to get involved in the competition prizes.
But, everyone get involved. There's no catch to it. You haven't got to pay. You haven't got to do anything really. Just all we ask is just to subscribe to the channel, follow us, like us, listen, yeah, and just enter and answer the question, and that's it really.
It's an easy process, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
I think, like I've said before on previous episodes, there's no point in making these questions hard because everyone's got, search bar on the internet. So there's no.
I wouldn't test me and Jonny because me and Jonny will come up with something.
Yeah,
we were talking about that in the messenger.
Challenge accepted.
Okay,
that'll be December's question. Down to you two.
All right.
But in the meantime, please do go and check out 3 Count Wrestling merchandise. The email address is 3count.co.uk and Instagram they're at 3count_wrestling and Facebook page as well, which is /3 Count Wrestling merchandise. Go and give them some support. Go and give them some love.
They are really a great site. Like how I mentioned before, that when I was younger, there was no way of getting any merchandise at all. I think all I remember was there was figures and videos in John Menzies or Woolworths in the UK, magazines, Toy Master.
Oh, that was a great shot.
Used to go in there and press all the figures off. They used to piss their old boy off in there.
Bless him.
But yeah, there was no other way of getting T-shirts or anything over here. And I think the closest thing I had to a T-shirt was going to the local seaside and getting one printed while I was there.
Used to get them really bad knockoff ones, didn't you?
But that's it. That's all like on a market or something, like Snetted a Market. I could never get anything else.
Get a T-shirt of Bret the Hot Man Hart.
It's quite fucking funny actually. So I'm only going to bring this up quite quickly, but I found it hilarious. There was one guy who was a knockoff guy when we were in Wales. I don't know if you saw him with his trolley. They had all these official WWE merchandise stalls, and there was one guy with a trolley just going around selling knockoff stuff, and he had stuff like Tyson Fury rules and
did you see the best one that was on there though?
No.
It had Wembley Stadium 2022 on it. Well done. You're in Cardiff, mate. Well done for trying though.
It just made me laugh because he was sort of circling rounds in between all of the...
I wish I got one now.
Well, you got fucking lynched if you had been pointing up a Wembley Stadium sign in Cardiff. Jesus.
I think I'm in the wrong place.
Fucking hell.
Okay, shall we move on?
Yeah, who wants to go first on this?
I'm going to let Jonny go first.
Yeah.
I think we should, Stu.
Oh, very exciting.
Going on here, really.
Yeah, he's only just come back.
He misses one fucking episode because he's a bit poorly, and now look at him.
He'd be under the weather.
Just be noshing him off.
Oh dear.
Sorry,
we
I
are
got that out of my system.
Yeah, we will be moving on to that subject later.
Noshing him off?
Yeah, we will be kind of moving on to that subject, guys, when we talk about Jonny and Stu staying in the hospital.
All right.
Keep listening. It's all going to be coming out soon.
It's not what you think. Let's get it out there first.
Oh dear.
Go on then, Jonny. Go with the first one.
Well, just before I jump in, this topic was... James is still going up, right? Okay.
That's the worst segue I've ever heard.
It's brilliant.
Oh dear. Right, okay.
Be professional. We're meant to be a podcast.
Yes, a wrestling podcast.
These bits get the most fucking views.
True.
Okay, so this topic was actually picked by Facebook member Jim Sangwell.
Big up the Jim.
Big up the Jim.
Yeah. Also, just quickly interjecting, I think we should mention that Jim did go to Wales wearing our T-shirt.
He did indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Just very quickly.
Massive.
He had it made.
So much, Jim. It's amazing.
Yes, yeah, it was really good, yeah. It's a lovely T-shirt.
Jealous, by the way.
So yeah, he did... this was his pick, and since he mentioned this, I've really been looking forward to doing this. Now, with big iconic entrances, most people think of WrestleMania, but there really are some forgotten gems out there. So I dug deep for this. I searched high and low and managed to pick 8.
What happened to top 3?
But I did eventually.
He's been away for an episode and he's coming back with 8.
Top 8.
Bloody hell, we finish about midnight.
Jesus Christ. I've got work tomorrow.
It's I did eventually get it down to 3.
Oh, God.
It was a bit of a struggle, But it was hard work. It really was. Right. Okay. So I'm going to take you back to 1998, March the 16th to be precise. Now, I thought I'd give you a little history as to what was actually going on around this time too. Ooh. Titanic, starring Leo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, were dominating the movie box office.
Oh God, we're actually going trivia.
We are, and everyone was singing "My Heart Will Go On."
Fuck that film.
Run DMC versus Jason Nevis was number one in the UK charts with "It's Like That," and that's the way it is. ER Friends Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess were all big on TV.
Yeah.
And everyone.
Does anyone remember this? Not tangent. I'm just sort of mentioning.
It fucking is. It is
a little bit.
a little one.
Like La Femme Nikita or whatever.
That was awesome.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's great.
They used to be on around that time as well.
It did. Yeah.
Used to be on after the wrestling.
That's
they
right.
always advertise it.
I think Shawn Michaels appeared on that on one episode.
He did.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on.
What? Yep. And everyone was.
These weird things just pop into my mind. I'm sorry. Like when he mentioned like Cena and all that, I was thinking, yeah, La Femme Nikita was quite big.
It takes you right back to 1998. And everyone was playing Abe's Odyssey and snowboarding 1080 on the PS1 and N64.
Abe's Odyssey was awesome.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. I don't know about the other fucking snowboarding, but
I quite like the snowboarding one.
Abe was fucking great.
Follow me.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hello. Follow me.
Shut the fuck up and get on with the topic.
I don't even know if that sounded like him. Right, okay. Yeah, and also on this very day, WCW World Championship Wrestling held their annual Monday Nitro during spring break.
Okay.
Now, this was an outside arena full of drunken college students.
I remember this.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? And I don't think any of these students actually knew what was actually happening. No. I think they were just drunk, they were there, and I remember there being little swimming pools all around the area. And I quite liked this, so it was different.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about WCW at the time. They would try different things. Like sometimes they go to the beach and actually have the ring on the beach.
I just remember Scott Hall and Kevin Nash being involved. One of them ended up in the pool. Or something.
I think every show someone ended up in the pool. Yeah. So the main event was NWO members Hollywood Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Lex Luger and Sting. So everyone's in the ring waiting on Sting. His music's playing and he's nowhere to be seen. Then all of a sudden a helicopter arrives and starts hovering above the ring. Now obviously there's no roof to this stadium, this building, because it's outside.
It's almost done like in a sort of like a plaza of a hotel, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's really strange. Like where the bar is, like where the tropical bar type area is.
A bit like
it's really weird.
An up-class Butlins, maybe.
Yeah, it was like that.
All I've got in my head is
Tropicana drinks are free.
Tropicana drinks are free.
I don't think we've done any fucking wrestling yet.
I don't think we have, no. Right, so the wind is blowing everything everywhere. It is blowing everything everywhere. The ring mats are flying up in the air. The signs are being blown off the walls because this helicopter is just hovering above everything. Hogan's trying to push through the wind and he can't get through it. Bischoff's being blown against the railing.
I remember that.
That sounds so wrong.
It's terrible. It's a fucking job.
And then all of a sudden, Sting lowers himself out of the helicopter like a bloody action man, like Rambo. He just comes down on this rope, and obviously he can't do it from the top of the building because there's no roof, but he comes down like bloody action man, flying into the ring with his baseball bat, taking out all the NWO. The match doesn't even begin. It's thrown out from the start, and just everyone's brawling, and that's my entrance. Sting as bloody action man.
I remember that. Yeah,
I don't think I've seen that one.
And
No. I'll have a look for that.
It's a shame because it's not very eventful in terms of the event itself, but the entrance is well remembered.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
I'll have a look for that.
So there we go. That's my first one out there.
Who wants to go second then?
I'll go.
Go for it.
Okay, so it's quite interesting for me because usually I go to the past, don't I? but I haven't. In 2 of mine, I've actually gone for this year.
Ooh.
Spicing things up a little bit.
Yeah. So this is kind of interesting because obviously this guy's going to be in the news later on. But I wish this guy would just focus on this type of thing because he's really good at it and he's really talented. As I've said multiple times on the podcast, I do really like him. Not so much at the moment, but it's CM Punk's entrance. His homage to his Ring of Honor days from the theme of AFI at AEW Revolution. It is just a nostalgia fest. There's an emotion to this from a proper wrestling fan standpoint that just takes you back. And it's class. It's a brilliant moment. It's probably, for me, the best thing AEW have actually done. I know that sounds harsh when you think of all the matches, but this really stood out for me. I watched it continuously. I couldn't stop watching it.
I loved it.
It was a proper goosebumps moment because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, I mean,
genuinely wasn't expecting
even the track. So there was no. It wasn't fancy pyrotechnics display or anything like that. It was a pure homage to his past, and it was class.
Something like this, I never saw a lot of his stuff from Ring of Honor. I've seen bits and pieces, but I never followed it full on. So I didn't really see much of his entrances back then. But seeing that, there's only 2 CM Punk moments that stand out for me in his AEW, and that was that moment there and his debut for the company. But that entrance was just amazing. It really was. It just,
It's, as well, I mean, for someone who I like AFI, I really do like their music. It's, it's well known that I love my rock music, my punk, and my metal. AFI are a great band. That is a great album opening song. It's atmospheric. There's some great chants in there as well. And that is the sort of stuff you need to get a crowd involved. And it's also a massive, massive throwback for Punk for his Ring of Honor days that a new generation will kind of go, what the fuck is this from?
Yeah, obviously Tony Khan had just bought Ring of Honor. It was more a case of the remembrance of the old Ring of Honor. The great matches with Samoa Joe, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. I think Christopher Daniels was in there a little while before, or maybe after his TNA tenure.
Chris Hero in there.
Chris Hero. There's just some great old names. I mean, I don't mean to bring up the one because we're going to have to bring it up later, but Colt Cabana was there. There was multiple people there. It was a brotherhood back
massively.
then. And
him and Samoa Joe have had some phenomenal matches together in the past.
It was kind of NXT before NXT existed to Ring of Honor. It was for your pure wrestling fan, professional wrestling fan at that time.
It's crazy to think how far Ring of Honor went back as well. Was it early 2000, 2002?
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at Punk around about 2004, I think. Being at his height, maybe 2005, because he's coming into WWE at 2006.
So it's probably around that sort of time.
Yeah, it's about 2004. And I just love this. I just love this. I could still watch it now and get goosebumps from it.
And it was good it went in well with the match as well with MJF, the whole build up and everything. It was just another level.
And shout out to, because we're massive fans here, shout out to MJF the way he sold it. If you can get on YouTube, guys, and actually watch this live from the crowds, it's even better. Because you can hear the crowd react to finally realising it is AFI, it is the old Ring of Honor, and when they realise, they just mark out like motherfuckers.
Absolutely.
That's my pick.
Great pick. Absolutely brilliant pick. My first pick comes from Survivor Series 2005, and it comes off the back of a feud between Randy Orton and The Undertaker from No Mercy the same year, and it's The Undertaker's return at the end of Randy Orton's match, where the hooded priests bring out The Undertaker's coffin, stand it upright, and then the coffin strikes up on fire. And I did time it earlier, and I think it went for about 32 seconds that he stood in that coffin while it's on fire.
I am.
Yeah, I know. That's fair play to the man for being able to stand that. But and the coffin door bursts open, and makes his way to the ring, and does what he does best, which is kick some ass. But it's the way that he holds himself when he comes out of the ring, and I'll quite happily state this. I think that is the most jacked the Undertaker has looked.
Maybe
because he came out of there, bit of a beard on him, hair was jet black, the eyeliner was on, and he just came out, and how you could, his muscles were big. He looked really in shape.
Beefing up.
And menacing. Yeah, he looked absolutely menacing when he came out of that coffin and just stood there. That sends goosebumps for me as well, much the same as that Punk one.
Yeah.
It's not don't get me wrong, Undertaker has had some phenomenal entrances, especially WrestleMania entrances, but this, for me, is the true definition of the Phenom for me.
Yeah.
He sells that character superbly for being able to stand in a coffin for 30 odd seconds while it's on fire, walk out, take 2 paces, and still stand there with the coffin on fire behind him,
working on his tan,
and just standing there, just staring. And that's all he does. He just stares at them all. It's brilliant. It's so good, and it's just so atmospheric. I love it.
I need to
great passion for it, man.
Yeah. Cheers,
I need to rewatch. I remember seeing it at the time.
Yeah.
But it's been a long time since I have seen it, and I think I need to go back and rewatch it again.
Yeah,
but I do remember it being good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think with such a popular icon, I think you'll find that there'll be a majority, there'll be a lot of different memories of The Undertaker for what was his most memorable.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll find out later, because he has had some
he's had
amazing entrances.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
Over to Jonny again.
Right. Here we go again. Okay. Now, I ain't got a lot to say about this next pick, to be honest, but my next pick is from August the 20th, 2016, and it's NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2. And the entrance I'm talking about is Shinsuke Nakamura.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love this entrance. I've watched it back about 3 times today already. The arena goes to black, and the spotlight just shines down on this violinist. Is that the word, violinist?
Yeah, I think so.
Standing on the entrance ramp. And the whole thing just feels like it's put you in this trance. When the music finally kicks in and Nakamura comes out, he's just full of charisma. It's like a mixture of the emotion of his entrance to the epic uplifting sound of his music to the thousands singing along. It just has it all. The crowd even carry on singing throughout the match. It's just a fantastic entrance. And that's it. That's all I've got to say about it.
It's class. I've got nothing. You summed it up perfectly. I've got nothing
to add to that. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Fair play.
Yeah.
Back to James then. That was quick. Short and sweet. I thought mine was short and sweet.
I think that's the shortest one I've ever had.
I don't think there was anything that we could add.
No.
I'm shocked there was no weather update for it.
It might still be coming.
Okay, well, staying with this year, 2022.
Oh, you really have gone.
Oh.
I have. And I did some research, and I could not.
It was our entrance for Clash at the Castle, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was when we come up at U27.
The crowd all turned to look at us.
When we entered and we finally got some food, we got some chicken bits.
£7 for 3 bits.
Yeah, we come through that.
I got a bag of Pringles. That's all I was allowed.
Had to remortgage his house for that.
No, so
go for it.
It's Cody Rhodes' entrance.
Oh. Yeah.
Cody's entrance.
One of us had to have it.
We all knew it was coming, but I don't think any of us expected it to be as special as that.
No, I don't think anybody expected it to be as emotional.
Yeah, it was done so well, and I think everyone knew it was going to be Cody. I think it was to the point, really, wasn't it, that it was so obvious that it was going to be Cody.
Yeah.
Everyone started to second guess themselves of who it could have been, that mystery opponent. But the way it was done was fantastic.
That was brilliant.
the lights going down, they give it plenty of time.
The speaking over the system.
Suddenly that wrestling has
Yeah.
more than one royal family.
Yeah.
The crowd were amazing.
Yeah.
They just, as soon as that happened and the music hit, the lighting,
And you see him coming up through the stage.
the crowd just pop,
It was a true definition of WrestleMania moment.
yeah, absolutely.
And he still had his same music as well.
Yeah.
Everything was still exactly the
so
same.
I think that's what we were all worried about. I think we thought we were going to get Dashing Cody Rhodes or something like that,
different, yeah.
and we got the Cody Rhodes that I personally love.
Yeah. So
Some people don't.
At the time, I wasn't big on Cody Rhodes, and I think I mentioned that previously. But I did change my opinion. I did change my opinion later on. Yes,
I think he's class, and
clever guy.
I'm sure it's sold in everyone's memories. I don't really need to go on about it that much.
That is a
it's
great
a special moment.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I couldn't leave it off.
Yeah. What would have made it better is if he brought his dog with him, though, as well. I think. No,
I'm just
I
imagining
think the silence spoke for it all there, mate.
I'm just imagining that poor little sog coming up that trap door with all that smoke. No.
But even worse, I'm going to look down and saw no dog, just the lead.
No, if he gets a chance, he could do it in the future. But I just thought it was perfect. The way he come up, the way he stood, it made him look like a star. And yeah. Okay.
Brilliant pick.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant pick. Oh, I'm screwed for that one. Right. My next one comes from an episode of WCW Nitro from December 23rd, 1996. It's nothing special. It's nothing special at all. But I think purely because of my, Scottish heritage and this, that, and the other, and being a very, very proud Scotland rugby supporter, this really hit a nerve for me. And it's the entrance for Roddy Piper coming into the Nitro Arena in Atlanta with the Antol Highlander DMP band. You've got 10 to 12 bagpipers, 4 drummers, and it's a proper goosebumps moment. It's done brilliantly. How they angled it as well. Just having all these pipers come out, then march down the ramp, facing the camera, facing the ring, and they were just playing away. It's absolutely beautiful. And then right at the last minute, you see Piper walk out and walk down the centre between all the pipers, dead staring Hollywood Hogan in the ring.
Is it similar to how McIntyre comes down?
Yeah.
I get it.
I do like that entrance.
It's brilliant.
It was close to being on mine. The McIntyre one, 35.
It's a brilliant setup. It's and especially for just a house show. These are the sort of things that you get for a big pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's it.
Or something. But this, because it was just a house show, I think it was like oh man, that's brilliant. I mean, if you
go back, Piper, to my knowledge, really had the first big entrance in WWF because at WrestleMania 1, if you remember, everyone comes down quite normally, and it's no one knows how the event's going to go. But Piper actually has the I forgot what they call them. You might know. It's the New York.
I know.
It's the New York.
Was it police band?
Yeah, I think it's the police band.
Yeah.
New York police band.
Right.
He has the bagpipes.
Yeah, he's playing as well, isn't he?
No, because he's a heel.
He plays at SummerSlam 92.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
sorry.
he comes down cocky because he's that heel for WrestleMania 1. It's the main event, and he actually is the person who has the
first
fancy
big
entrance really, in WWF.
What year was that? It was 85.
85.
So that was March, because originally I was going to pick Ric Flair at the Great American Bash when he arrived in the helicopter, and that was 85, but that was sort of July time, I think. So Piper one of the first ones.
I was trying to bear in mind those open stadium events that the NWA used to put on, because they did used to do them a lot, and Dusty used to do certain things. Because the Freebirds I mean, they started the whole thing, really, all the glitz and glamour. We talk about, like, the rock and wrestling of WWF. But the Freebirds, to my knowledge, and someone out there might be able to catch me out, but I do believe that the Freebirds were the first people to consistently have music.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was a nice little segue between.
Well, it's a little bit of a history lesson as well. It's about the Roddy Piper one because it does, Stu, sort of remind me yours of WrestleMania 1 because that was his entrance. His entrance was the bagpipes either side, and obviously it was the main event. And Roddy doesn't get a lot of admiration for being in the main event or a lot of attention.
No. You always get second to Hogan, really. He kind of just gets put behind.
even beyond Hogan, because usually you have like two. You know, you would know the main event. You know, we look at like Andre and Hogan, Warrior and Hogan. Yeah. It would have been better really if it was Piper and Hogan.
Yeah, that's exactly why he was my pick for one of my all-time favourites.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one.
So thank you very much, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, no, he deserves a lot of respect because he was much Hogan's sort of Lex Luthor to Superman.
Yeah. Good analogy there. Yeah.
Well, really, in that first WrestleMania, which kicks it all off.
Because they had the one-on-one match, like the pay-per-view before WrestleMania, didn't they? It was like the award to settle the score.
Yes.
Something. But they could have swapped it around maybe and had the tag match at that, and then the single match at WrestleMania.
I think there's a lot of politics involved. It also was to do with getting the glitz and glamour of Mr. T involved.
Yeah, very true.
As well. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's my second pick.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Roddy Piper.
Okay, who's next? Is it back to me again?
It is back to you.
My final pick. Right, okay.
We shot through these.
Right, I was just thinking the same. Right, to bear with me for this one. Okay, now I'm going to take you back to March the 29th, 1998. This was in fact 2 weeks after my first pick of Sting and the Helicopter. Now I was going to say it was a dark, stormy night and the wind was blowing.
You had to get it in.
I had to.
He had to.
But if I did, I'd be lying, and I didn't want anyone calling me out on it. I still got it in. So what I did was I called up Bill and Ted, I jumped in their time machine, and headed back to March of '98. The weather was actually very nice. It was in fact a very warm day. And just to clear things up, I didn't actually call up Keanu Reeves. I just looked on Google. Now, the event I'm going to talk about is the 14th annual WrestleMania. And the entrance I'm going to talk about was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, in the main event. Now, to some people, this entrance might not be that great. But to me, I really love it. So it started with Shawn, Hunter and Chyna walking in the back towards the gorilla position. This was something that wasn't really done at the time. I think they might have done it once or twice beforehand, but it wasn't really it didn't happen every pay-per-view,
right?
I don't think. Shawn is just looking into the camera, just being this cocky Shawn Michaels he was at the time. And then when they come out, they're actually being sang to the ring by the DX Band.
Okay.
And the DX Band were like this dirty, grungy, gritty band that featured a guy called Chris Warren singing and Jim Johnson on guitar and two other unknown members. And like I said, some people probably don't like this. And it wasn't great. They didn't sound great. Some people have even said they sound like it was their first rehearsal at band practice. But I really like it. And I think there's three reasons why I like it. First being, I was really into my heavy sort of new metal grunge music at the time. Second, DX hadn't really been around that long, and they were cocky, full of attitude, and Shawn just didn't care, and it fitted them really well. And third, it was different from anything we had seen in WWF before. It was bringing in like a new era for the WWF. The Attitude Era was just about to kick off. The Austin Era was about to begin. So, an interesting fact, also the DX Band actually sang the national anthem at the beginning of the show. And it was so different from anything they had done before. Like WWF were used to having like Ray Charles, Little Richard, Aretha Franklin doing their national anthems. And they now had this grunge band screaming it instead. And the interesting fact is you cannot find this anywhere. It's not on the network. It's not on any DVD. I think it might have been on the VHS release a very long time ago, but it's very hard to find.
Anyone would think they're embarrassed about it. What could they possibly mean?
It is on the VHS release, and it is so bad you can't help but remember it.
Yes,
fucking
well, the
awful.
reason they've taken it off is because people were complaining as they found it disrespectful and poor quality. And Terry Funk was one of the main people who said this.
Oh, really?
I'm not surprised.
Wow,
because
yeah.
it does come across as disrespectful. It's supposed to be like counterculture, but it's really not good.
This is also the very last time DX would appear together until they reformed in 2006-2007.
Okay.
And an interesting fact, the singer of the DX band, Chris Warren, went on to sing Triple H to the ring in SummerSlam of '98. And he also recorded Triple H's My Time theme. Then he went to TNA to record some of their themes before releasing his own album, but then sadly passed away a few years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But that's my pick.
Oh, wow.
He was very, very synonymous with DX and Triple H. I always remember the entrance at SummerSlam 1998. The Rock and Triple H.
Yeah.
I think they smashed all the instruments.
They
up.
did, yes.
Yeah. That's right. And also for many, many years, as we discussed off mic, a lot of people thought it was Rage Against the Machine
Yes.
that did it, which I can totally understand that. The singer does sound very much like Zach De La Rocca in places.
And like I said, I thought it was the singer from Will Haven, another metal band.
Also another great band.
But I can't agree with you more from the main event, and also the way that Shawn and Hunter are so fired up with it as well.
Yeah.
It really, really does encapsulate that we're going into the Attitude Era.
That's it. It's a whole new era beginning.
Yeah. I mean, we'd seen like the Brett and Shawn stuff, and like the Canada versus USA with Austin and Brett and all that, but we were just about to go full Attitude.
Yeah.
And it really almost signals it in.
I think as well you got to.
It's a really good pick.
It is, yeah. I think as well you got to acknowledge the fact that the more WWF went into WWE, you've got to look at the amount of bands, like proper rock bands, have actually taken part in these live events and done theme tunes, or wrestlers have asked for their music to be their theme tunes.
There's been a lot.
Yeah,
There really has.
there's been I'm pretty sure Edge is probably the one that's had the most bands, do his theme tunes. There's about 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. 2 of them are, particularly the same band, but that music that is picked by these individual wrestlers and also the company themselves, they're the sort of music that really it gets your attention straight away.
Yeah, it sucks you in.
It's atmospheric stuff, man. It really is.
Yep.
Great pick.
Thank you.
And we have to remember that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's about creating emotion, and for WrestleMania 14, that main event, I remember WrestleMania 14 was called X-Rated.
That's right.
And it was supposed to go down that direction.
Yeah.
Of this counterculture, like we were moving into a new era, and it did it really well.
Yeah, very well. Yeah.
I think that Shawn was injured going into this match as well.
No, he was in the right state.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right. There we go. So
it's over to Captain Chicken Sandwich over there.
yes.
I was trying to be quiet.
Pizza last time. Burger King this
In
time.
the last 3 episodes, you've been eating twice.
That's because usually we have a takeout here, and you guys have a roast dinner or something before you bloody come on a
This is what
Sunday.
happens when we do it on a Sunday.
Yeah. So I have to sort of wait for you guys to come and then get me fucking dinner. But moving on, anyway.
Yes. James's final pick.
I'm going with the same event.
Really?
Johnny.
Ooh, WrestleMania.
Oh, wow.
And
Showcase of Mortals.
This is really interesting because this is more traditional.
Right.
My one, and I think this is where this is what I was talking about with the Undertaker, so everyone knows what's coming. This for me is the Undertaker encapsulated.
Right.
This was his biggest entrance. There was no pyrotechnics. It was just the Druids. They come down to that classical music. I can't remember what that music's called.
No, I know the one you mean.
Yeah.
Very eerie and
Yeah.
dark and creepy.
Happy birthday, wasn't it?
They stand they stand either side from one another. Link the massive
the torches,
the thunderclaps, and out comes the Undertaker, and it is really the first mega entrance of the Undertaker. This is the entrance that everyone looks back on when you see the old Undertaker. This is always the entrance they show. Usually, they show that pan up. Do you remember? There's that shot of that pan up of him walking, and it's just iconic.
There wasn't another entrance like it beforehand for the Undertaker, was there?
No, not to my knowledge.
WrestleMania 9, I suppose, is the only one I can think of when he.
They had tried to do certain things. They had tried to bring him out in a hearse, and they had tried
more like a taxi.
And they had tried to bring him out. Like WrestleMania 9 is what you said when they bring him out in the Roman funeral.
He had an eagle or something with him.
Vulture.
Didn't
he had a vulture.
It was a black vulture.
Well, it was a traditional Roman funeral march. That was what it was supposed to be.
Big old vulture.
And
it was fucking huge thing. It was
but I don't think they ever managed to encapsulate the Undertaker before this like that did. I mean, that was.
That Roman one didn't work because it was recorded in an open top stadium.
Yeah, it just wasn't good. They tried to do it a few times with the Undertaker, but the Undertaker still hadn't got much character. He was still that stoic, slow. It was more Paul Bearer that was the active all of that sort of thing. And the Undertaker was more of a statuesque character until he got in the ring. This was a real big entrance. It was against his brother Kane.
Yeah.
I think it's his best entrance personally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so iconic.
It is good, yeah.
Another good book.
No, that's good.
Fair play.
And that's the end of mine.
Right. Last one. Mine's a real short but sweet one because just because it is. There's not a great deal you can say about it because it's just atmospheric. It's from Survivor Series 2014 and it's the debut of Sting.
Yeah. Stinger.
His first appearance in WWE.
Probably his best appearance, wouldn't it?
I genuinely think, hands down, this is his most atmospheric entrance that he's ever had.
It's also really an interesting pick that you picked because this entrance is during a match.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of a match, yeah.
Oh, I think,
the match is
still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and it just stops everything. I think at the time the rumours had been circulating that Sting was finally going to join WWE, and let's face it, we all know with social media and the internet, we all knew it was coming. But even still, for me, the main reason why this I think is personally is my favourite entrance is the crowd. The crowd pop for that.
For it, yeah.
It's, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's the biggest crowd pop I've ever heard, but the way that it was set up, I think his entrance music at that time as well was just superb. It was so atmospheric, very slow, much like the Ring of Honor CM Punk one with AFI. It's very slow. It's almost like a call to arms drum beat.
It's interesting because, do you want to know my opinion? And
no.
we can all have different.
Stop trying to outdo mine again.
We can all have different opinion. I felt the crowd were a little bit confused as to who it was. Well, because what happened was, if you remember, you had that black screen hit with all. I think it has crows on it and all.
You
like,
can hear a crow. Yeah,
that's right.
I don't think anyone
fully.
Yeah, I don't think anyone fully grasped who it was. At first,
you do, because I watched it just before I came in. You do see a very flash image of him screaming.
Yeah,
that's and that's it. And it literally is like if you blink and you miss it. Yeah. Oh, it's midway through it. Yeah, blink and you'll miss it.
So I remember it happening, and I remember me thinking, "Who's this?" And the music, I just love it. For Sting's Crow character, I just love that original. I look at Starrcade 97's music.
Yeah, I prefer his older music.
I just loved it.
I was disappointed that they changed it.
Yeah, we all have differences of opinion. That's great. But that music to me was Sting. That's Sting. Do you remember that?
Come on, join in.
Which leads us on to another point. We'll get to this later on, but Johnny's love of humming theme tunes.
Oh, God.
We'll get to that later. But yeah, it is a really short but sweet one for me.
It was an amazing entrance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And, it was to put down the authority. It was. I think he put Dolph Ziggler over one of the individuals.
He was, he was the final one, I believe.
That was
because everyone was hoping that Ziggler would get a push off of this, and it never came.
Never happened.
Which was such a shame.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
That's it.
That's my favourite one, my number one pick.
I actually have a very quick honourable mention. If I can just throw this out there.
Is this the other ones that were on the 8?
Yeah, the other 8. Yeah. This one was actually on the 8. This was just a separate one I thought of today. So it's WCW Fall Brawl 1998. Chris Jericho. The entrance was based off the movie Spinal Tap.
I love that film.
The WCW television champion would get lost over and over again trying to find his way to the ring.
I remember this.
He was trying to imitate Goldberg, and he just couldn't find the ring. He was going through different doors.
Is this when he had that fat guy with him?
Yeah, Rufus, I think it was. Yeah, and he's just going back and forth. He just can't find it. It takes him about 10 minutes to find the ring, and it's hilarious. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
It is funny. I always remember that guy we had with him.
Rufus.
I think he's supposed to be a security guard.
Yeah, he was actually a truck driver or something, and then Jericho went up to him one day and said, "Do you want to come and be my manager or my security guard?"
He never did anything, he just followed him about.
Yeah, that was it. I think they had a falling out because when Jericho went to the WWF, he never contacted Rufus because Rufus thought he was going with him, and there was an email sent or something, so I heard, and they never spoke again after that apparently, which was strange. But
I think Rufus should have been grateful he was involved in the first place. Maybe it went to his head a little bit too much.
But there we go.
I've got one honourable mention.
Oh!
Yeah, and stupidly, I've forgotten which NXT takeover it was from. But it is Aleister Black. And as I said, I can't remember which NXT takeover it was, but it features the band Code Orange with the lead singer from Incendiary.
Yes, I remember that.
It's a phenomenal entrance.
It's the one where he comes up on the board.
Yeah.
I love it when he came up on the board.
Just in front of the band, and again, I'm a massive fan of Code Orange, massive fan of Incendiary.
Do you know what? Just in a joke, I think I sent that to you.
I think you might have done, and I remember straight away.
Facebook.
Yeah, and I do believe straight away I messaged you back going, "Is that Code Orange?" Holy shit!
This is when you fell out of love with wrestling.
Yeah, massively.
I think I sent it to you.
Yeah. It's brilliant entrance. It's so atmospheric. I mean, great use of fog. And Aleister Black's, sort of lean up entrance I love it. It's absolutely brilliant. And I was gutted when they changed his music because that is a proper kick-ass theme tune music.
Yeah, I can't remember which takeover it was. But I know it was a good entrance.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a very good entrance.
We had some great responses for these.
We had loads.
Yeah, this has definitely been the best responses we've had from our listeners, and massively grateful to everyone that got involved. So let me just read out a few here. So, where do we start? Let's start at the top. Rob Shepherd, our competition winner from earlier, and I'm not going to lie, I did laugh a lot when I read this one. Rob put, "I've got to say, Shinsuke Nakamura when he arrived in NXT, no offence to Rick Boogs, but me and the missus had the old music as our ringtone, and I regularly used to walk around the house doing the hands thing."
Yeah, I read that as well.
Stuff.
Yeah. I was trying to picture him doing it, coming out of the bathroom.
Oh, it was brilliant. Jim Sangwell as well. I'd also say the Brood, but struggling to find one in particular to highlight. He also said Finn Balor's Demon debut at NXT Revolution, without a doubt.
I think that the Brood is a great shout.
Yeah.
I think it was so different.
Oh yeah.
I remember them coming up at a different part of the stage, the arena. They used to come up near the sides, and they used to come up in a ring of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really.
And then they had
good
the blood
shout.
as well, which they spat out everywhere.
We've also got Michael Roberts, who has said Sandman at One Night Stand. Shawn Michaels from the ceiling at WrestleMania 12.
I almost picked that one.
Yeah, same. And the controversial, but Cena at WrestleMania 25 with the multiple Cenas in line.
I like that.
I think Cena's had some really good ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Paul Fraser has said Undertaker at WrestleMania 14.
Yeah.
Carl Gregory has said Taker at Mania 14 as well. Dave Dano Cox, I loved your response to this by purely sending me an emoji of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And when I said which Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance, he replied any, because it's Stone Cold. Absolutely brilliant response to that one. Mac Drayton as well, finally. Surely the Taker when the hands are grabbing him. But I can't remember which Mania that was.
It was 30 something. Did it even have a number? Was that when they started changing the shapes every year? Like,
I remember what he's talking about.
It's like zombies coming up, weren't it? They were all grabbing him.
Yeah, like the hands from
those naughty hands coming up from below.
Naughty,
very naughty.
I was going to take a guess at it, but I'm not going to actually, because the guess that I was just going to take, I've just gone through my memory banks in my mind. It's wrong. I think it's wrong, because 21 was the one when he come down as if he wasn't walking. He had a stall thing, and I thought it started with that and then had that, but I don't think it did.
22, no, it was Mark Henry 22. I think it was a late 30s one, like
Could have
early
been.
30s, I think. I'm pretty sure. We will look into it.
Be interesting to see which one it is.
Yeah, we'll find out eventually.
We will find out.
Anyway, moving on, let's get to our little talk about our Johnnies last week.
This is going to be funny.
We're going to be talking about our best and worst moments at Clash of the Castle. And I'm pretty sure I can speak for everyone, but what an experience that was.
It was amazing.
It was good, yes, very good.
Yeah.
And it was your very first show you'd ever been to as well.
It's my first ever wrestling show that I've been to. I am no longer a wrestling pay-per-view virgin. I got broken in well and truly.
Fucking hell.
And you got better seats for it as well.
Oh yeah, mate. Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks to the stewards for not moving us.
To me for pointing it out.
Very true. Very true. So
we should point out actually that if anyone watched the live, which I know a lot of people did, where Jonny and Stu were talking about where they moved is they moved next to me. If you remember in the live, any of you guys, because I know there's a lot of quite a hardcore, viewers to us, aren't there? Like. And they would have seen the live when they say James is down there somewhere.
He was 4 rows in front of us.
Yeah, that's where they moved.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that was one of the only rows which was unoccupied.
There was no one on it.
There was quite a few gaps on there.
And I was sitting on me lonesome, and I kept turning to them and pointing with my eye, going, "Watch these seats."
So we did, but we waited for the pre-match. The pre-show match to finish.
We got that out of the way.
And
we trundled on down and took our seat.
We'd done that first pre-show one, and then we decided to wait until the first match of the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think it was after the women's match.
Yeah, because we were kind of worried that if we moved down there and someone was running late,
we might get moved back.
Shit, we're going to get moved. Anyway, that didn't happen, so we actually got some better seats thanks to James for keeping us posted on that. I'm pretty sure that we've all got the same thing.
I would think so.
I think so, yes.
I genuinely, let's get the negative out of the way. Let's pick our worst bit first.
Again, I'm not going to be too harsh on this.
No.
Because I'm also going to give the context, I'm sure you guys were, as to what was going on in the stadium. Well, with this one, I don't know if it's too funny. Basically, everyone decided for this match we're going to talk about to go for a piss break.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking of.
Oh, you're thinking about the other guy?
Yes. So, should we say? I'll let one of you say what match it was.
Best and worst moments.
Yeah, the worst. What was the worst match for you?
The worst match for me was Shayna and Liv.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I was.
It might have come across different on TV, but
and I'll be honest with you, I have watched it, and it isn't as bad on TV as it is live.
The atmosphere at the time, it's like the crowd just kind of switched off. And,
it's like someone put a massive Dyson vacuum on and just drew the energy out of the audience.
Just sucked it out.
Well, at the time when it was going on, for us personally, I don't know if anyone else can remember.
I know
we hadn't moved by then, had we?
No, we'd moved.
Oh no, we had.
There was a very drunk guy who came up the stairs and was looking for his bag. And it turns out he wasn't actually in our seated area at all, and we spent the next 15 minutes along with everyone else in our area
just watching
a security guard go, "No, you can't sit there, mate."
Yeah,
you can't sit there, mate.
I didn't pay any fucking attention. I was watching him. But I'll be honest with you, I tried to not do. One thing that I was really shocked at in the stadium is how many people in there were moving about. Like literally.
Oh yeah.
People were moving all the time.
Yeah. Up and down. I'm talking during like the main parts. Like we're talking like during the start of the main event.
Yeah.
There were people going to the toilet.
Yeah.
Just wandering around.
Yeah. And it was kind of strange for that. That is a negative I'll put in.
Ironically, this wasn't my pee break match. And I'll get to that one later.
I tried to not have a piss break match, right?
Yeah, I don't think I had one
either. But I was sitting next to Jonny, and Jonny will probably remember this, and I was going, I'm going to watch this match. I need to go for a piss, but I'm going to watch it. And then when it finished, this is how bad it was in the arena, guys. I turned to Jonny and whispered in his ear, "I wish I hadn't."
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I got up and went.
Yeah.
And it was not good live, guys.
We can all agree that our worst match from the actual pay-per-view itself was Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler.
Yes.
Yeah. Which was a shame. I'm not going to lie. I am a massive fan of both Shayna Baszler and Liv Morgan, but it was just like you said, James. I think it was being in the stadium. It just didn't come across that well.
Everyone went quiet. Everyone switched off.
I'll give you an example, guys, of how bad it was in the arena. We were really interested in hearing what sort of reaction Liv got, and the reaction was so small that we.
Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a slight technical error. Unfortunately, our recording equipment crashed. There's not a lot else we can say about it, really. So we unfortunately have to start, well, not so much start again, but you may hear a few segments that we've already talked about with the Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler match. All I can say is our apologies for that. These things happen, but we'll carry on regardless, isn't it?
Technology took over.
Yeah.
Well, I'd just like to shout out my fiancée Zoe. She did actually notice it.
Yes,
massive. Thank fuck.
Thank you very much for that. Well done.
Because if she wouldn't have noticed that, we would.
Oh, we'd have been screwed.
We would have gone through the whole thing and
there'd have been tears.
Fucking seen it. So
and had to redo the whole thing again.
Yeah. Oh. So we were Liv Morgan, and I believe where we were is we were talking about how everyone went for a piss break during that match, which was unfortunate. The match wasn't that good.
Yeah.
In the stadium, it did not come across well. Partly down to the fans.
It was just very. It just seemed slow.
It was very
boring.
mediocre.
Yeah. Nothing going on.
It come across in the stadium as a commercial break.
Yeah.
Because I'm not kidding. It was almost like it was half time at a football game.
Yeah.
Everybody after the Sheamus match got up and left.
Which I think is also a good way to go into our best of moment. I know that's my pick for me, but maybe that was the reason why also that the Liv Morgan Shayna Baszler match was so
I think
lacklusterly received because it came after such a monumental match.
Yeah, the fans had been picked up for that whole time, and then I'm guessing they just needed to cool down a bit, maybe.
I think, unfortunately, from my point of view, Liv is just not ready. Yeah. I look at her, and I don't know if I've already said this, but we were talking before. I don't like to slam a wrestler, and I'll never do it unless it's absolutely necessary, like Goldberg. But apart from that,
who's
next?
Goldberg.
His career.
God.
fucking ring post.
I think she needs time.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ready. I think that was far too early, and I think it's showing now.
Like you touched earlier, before everything went wrong, she's a work in progress, job.
She's a work in progress. I think she's
not bad at what she does.
She's good at what she does,
Yeah,
but in ring, she needs to be a little bit more seasoned.
Yeah.
She needs those 20-minute matches.
Yeah.
Even if they're from house shows, those main events, which will get her more.
She just needs work. Yeah, she just needs to
work your craft.
We have to remember that she was very underutilised as a talent for a long time.
Yeah.
And she hasn't had the ring time.
She hasn't been wrestling for that long, I don't think, really.
No, she was in an
NXT.
I remember when I first saw her, she was doing the whole what is it? New Jersey gimmick.
Yeah.
When I first saw her,
I think first time I saw her.
Which, to be fair, it isn't actually a gimmick. She is a New Jersey girl anyway.
Yeah. She basically come out like that, and she was all done up like that New Jersey style. That's when I first saw her in NXT.
I think first time I saw her was really with the Riot Squad when
same.
She came up to Raw and she had the blue tongue and they were pushing people over.
Did you not see her in NXT?
No, I don't think so.
Did I.
She was never a massive star in NXT. No, she was a stalwart there for a long time. She was a little bit similar. What's that girl called who was there for a long time? Aliyah? She was a little bit similar to her, where I think she'd been there a long time and was trying very hard.
Yeah.
And I'll never, she works hard. Yeah. She is getting better and she is passionate, but
it's just going to take time. And I feel like eventually she'll get there.
Yeah, I do.
Maybe after this first reign and a bit down the line, maybe she'll improve. She'll have time to improve. It's just a waiting game and just pushing yourself. I think that extra bit.
Yeah.
100% agree there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we go on to our best moment?
Yeah, definitely.
Best of the Clash.
I'm pretty sure as we said earlier, and
this is hard. It's almost like Greek Clash.
Yeah. So obviously we touched on this before. The computer equipment went wrong. Sadly, we've all picked this as our best moment of Clash at the Castle, and it is Gunther versus Sheamus.
Yeah, it's a stunning match that actually come across, I believe, better live.
Yeah,
because of the way that they use the audience.
The crowd were fully invested from the beginning. It just, they just took over, and the match was fully hard hitting as well.
Believable.
Just a fantastic match.
The introduction at the start from the other members of Imperium.
Which was a surprise. No one knew he was going to be there.
No, that set it out brilliantly. Even as you said earlier, Joe, the guy doing the wanker sign while the poor old boy was doing his speech.
I mean, the British humour does make you laugh, because just that image of that guy doing that on the big screen made the whole stadium laugh.
62,000
people
shackling
everybody
their heads
laughed
off.
at that.
If he had that over in America or somewhere else, I don't think it would really.
No
one would laugh at it or anything.
You don't really hear Americans calling each other wankers.
No, but they're much more. We talked about this before. They're much more well behaved in some of the things. Like, I'll be honest with you. I thought the chanting was going to be worse than it was. It was still pretty bad.
But it was a lot tamer than it could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, the crowd were invested in this match. The
crowd were fully behind Sheamus as a face. And behind him.
Like we said earlier, from someone, this is my first experience at a major pay-per-view. This, I was fully invested in this, man. I was so, I genuinely thought it was, I'd be behind Walter for this, because Sheamus has been around for a lot of years now, and this match will definitely get him some serious credibility. But I think we all thought Walter was going to storm this.
I knew that they were going to try and do something similar to what they do with the European style, like similar to what they do in NXT UK, which they did. Really, I just thought I can't say enough about this. The problem is, I will say this, guys, I went on such a passionate tirade, which actually is not on there. I've almost burnt myself out.
It really was good.
This match was amazing.
You had the whole entrance with where they're both facing each other.
I think I shocked a few people who were near me, because I kept shouting out. I was going like, great psychology, great, and I was clapping just them two standing. That start when they just stood,
it's phenomenal,
in the middle of the ring and let all that shit go on with the others.
Yeah, I was just brawling around them.
And like we said earlier as well, massive props to Pete Dunne for that.
Yeah,
he was so hyped.
Yeah,
really hyped.
It just come across as main event, serious competition, hard hitting match, well timed everything.
Do you think this is going to give the IC title some seriously much deserved
just
credibility?
About to say, I feel like it's elevated it quite well.
Massively. And it is much needed at the moment.
And you even had Bret Hart obviously there as well. With the 30 years of him being in the main event of SummerSlam for the IC title. It just all fit in really well. I think it was a fantastic match.
And also not forgetting the other person that was there as well.
Exotic Adrian Street.
Yes.
What an absolute talent, and so well deserved. I'm so pleased. He's actually been in our Facebook group, which is a huge honour, and we really, really thank you for that, Adrian.
Can't thank you enough for that.
You know me, guys, like, I'm so into like the golden oldies and the golden era and things like that. And this guy was so ahead of his time. He was gold dust from an entertainment standpoint, or a Gorgeous George.
Many years before they came along.
Well, Gorgeous George was in the 30s.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So he was the British version in a time when there was a lot of homophobia. I mean, he played a camp glam rock. Well, from a British perspective, it would be glam rock.
Yeah.
Elsewhere it was very different.
I mean, he travelled to the Americas, but Gold Dust, those sort of people, they have.
You could all see where they've taken the influence from.
Yeah, and just some matches that he's had, just to get, match against Randy Savage that I saw, the theatrics in that. What I loved about him, guys, was he did the theatrics, but God, was this guy one hard shooter. Like, he was a proper Stu Hart type shooter, like a real grizzled,
great comparison.
Like a
really
real
good comparison.
grizzled.
If he wanted to hurt someone, he could.
Yeah, I know he wasn't a fan of Stu. He saw Stu as a bully. But if you are listening, Adrian,
you are hugely appreciated, for everything that you've done for British wrestling and Welsh wrestling at that. You are a true homegrown talent and homegrown hero.
I think he was one of the first who had his own entrance music as well. He was, as we covered earlier.
One of the first to sing, Jonny.
That's right, yeah. Imagine what I could do to you.
I mean, some of his promos back in the NWA was so well done. You saw that glam rock style that he used, like, oh God, no, no, I don't want to wrestle that hairy man. He's beneath me, like that. And this guy was one hard bastard. But the way he played it, there's a match which I talked about before with Jerry Lawler, where honestly for 10 minutes, and it's so entertaining, Adrian just dances around the ring. Every time they go to grapple, he plays the theatrics.
Brilliant.
And then Jerry Lawler does it back to him, and he goes crazy. But then he turns into that Stu Hart type shooter on him, and he goes
like of a switch.
Just flips.
Nice.
That was the difference between him and Goldust. Well, I would probably even say, and this is big, I would probably say he was more legitimate because he really showed it as an act.
Yeah.
Like, he would do that and then he would turn absolutely ferocious.
Right.
Just a brilliant worker. Worked into... I mean, he was in his 50s when he came to America.
Fair play, man.
I always love that photo that's out there of... I think it was his father or his dad or someone who works in the coal mine. And there's this photo of him all dressed up in his feathers and this like flamboyant. He's just
absolutely
and there's all these coal miners all standing behind him, just staring at him.
Yeah,
it's just amazing. It's just a great photo.
Absolutely brilliant.
I mean, unfortunately, I haven't seen too much of his British style. I will admit that these British matches.
Yeah.
But a lot of, and when he was in the NWA and come over to America, I've watched a lot of them, and I love the Brit. Again, it goes into the what we understand.
Yeah,
like when I'm watching these promos, I'm seeing that glam rock.
Yeah,
I'm saying, you imagine that, like, it's kind of almost like a Boy George arrogance.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh no, not him. I don't want to fight him. Like that, it's really well done, and he was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
You're fantastic, mate.
There is a documentary on the WWE Network as well, all about his career and his life, and that's definitely worth checking out as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
do we want to go any more into Sheamus, because we went really heavily into it earlier?
Yes,
and we've kind of just done a short bit about it, because we did do quite a lot, didn't we?
Yeah, we've got us. Well,
I mean, for me, it's a 5-star match.
Absolutely,
I think he's going to benefit from this. Already, they're building it up on SmackDown.
Yeah, that for me was like that was a main event. Had the absolute main event, big, pay-per-view feel to it.
They listened to the crowd, they paced it well. Sheamus worked brilliantly underneath as a babyface, knew his position. At one point there was a fantastic part in the match where, like, they both sort of were absolutely beat down, and they leaned up and looked at each other, and Sheamus just looked at him as if to say, you haven't beaten me yet, mate. Like that, and no words were needed. It was such brilliant.
Yeah, like I said to you earlier, that was just like a true Rocky moment.
Yes.
Beaten down to a pulp, and he was like, no, I want more.
I'm
still standing. I'm still here. You haven't beaten me yet. It was
no commentary needed. No microphone. You understood it, and it was great. It was fantastic.
It was really good.
The pop that the crowd gave him afterwards, and don't get me wrong, there were still people chanting, and cheering for Gunther. It was a phenomenal match, but the ovation the crowd gave him,
like a standing ovation,
and he looked like he was close to tears.
Yeah,
I genuinely looked like he was honestly touched by the crowd.
I think people don't realise how good Sheamus is. I think I said before on a podcast, like, I actually think Sheamus is quite underrated, because I think as a big man like he is, I think he needs another guy like that to be able, that strong sort of match. That, I mean, McIntyre can do it with him. It's sort of that let's beat the fuck out of each other match. That is Sheamus's forte. And I think during the periods when he had the belt, there wasn't many people around like that.
No.
And I think when he gets in there, he's always going to give you a solid match. I can't say enough good about it.
I think we can quite happily say, and quite easily say, and I'm pretty sure that we'd all agree, Sheamus is a future Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
I could even see him at one point in the future getting another run with the title. Maybe not at the moment. I think he's quite happy where he is at the moment in the story, everything. It's good that they're carrying it all on with SmackDown, and he got a great ovation when he was on SmackDown as well. But I think, sometime in the future, I think he could be champion again.
His stock has certainly rose after that match, even in America.
Surprised.
In America,
that was a
Johnny
true elevation match.
And he was being really, really cheered.
And the brawl they had on there, the fact that they're carrying it on, and it looks like it's going to be the 3 against 3. It's just great, really. I'd like to see Gunther versus Sheamus, maybe the last man standing match.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be good.
I'd love it.
Yeah,
I'd absolutely love it.
So, thank you, Sheamus. Thank you, Gunther.
And I'd like to. I'd like to see maybe an attempt at revenge from Pete Dunne.
Yeah, absolutely.
If an attempt to get the Intercontinental title from Dunne would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's mention a few other things that happened during our jollies there, and anything else to do with the pay-per-view.
Mine are not about the pay-per-view, so I'm going to let you guys go first, because we had a really fun time.
We had a very interesting time.
Yes.
Something that we can look back on now and laugh at, but at the time was quite terrifying, I suppose.
It was fucking
different.
Great.
Fucking word for me.
Where do we start?
Are you guys got anything to say about the pay-per-view at all, or are we just going straight?
I've got.
I'm leaving that till the end, because it's not.
Okay.
I've got 2 last things to say. The last 2 things that I wanted to say about the pay-per-view is, and they were big moments for me, and it all comes down to one thing, and it's the crowd.
The crowd was amazing, and I'll just say to Stu, I showed you a bit of the pay-per-view just here. They were miles louder in there.
Oh yeah,
a lot louder.
Yeah, I
so
think
much
a lot.
louder than
I think
the
a lot
editing.
of people are thinking when they're watching the TV, that's how loud it was.
No.
I am telling you guys, that has either been dubbed down or something. That was so
much
loud.
louder. Yeah,
I mean,
much louder.
the best examples, the three that I've got for the crowd was all the interactions between Bailey.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and it started it off.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of it all.
Oh yeah.
And also, huge props to Bailey for actually going along with it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Because
Brilliantly
Bailey
and cleverly
plays
done.
pantomime like with the crowds. She acknowledged what they were doing.
Yeah.
Whereas some other people did not.
Yeah.
And she'd come in when they'd start singing and she'd go back out again.
Yeah, like they'd purposely sing for her and then she would purposely tag out.
Yeah. That was absolutely hilarious. The other one was 62,000 people singing Alter Bridge's Metalingus when Edge came out.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I don't think that's ever been done before that I know of.
Edge reckons he will never ever get over it.
Yeah.
He sent out a message saying it will live with him forever because he'd never seen anything like that in his life.
Even Alter Bridge released a social media post about it saying that they've never heard it.
Did you read the Edge one?
Yeah.
Where he thanked like Cardiff and said like, I cannot believe even late into my career that I've heard something new, and that's somebody singing my song from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I'm a massive. I've seen Alter Bridge live. I saw them at the O2, and even the fans at the O2 never sung it as loud as that. That was absolutely fucking crazy.
Because Edge actually didn't have to do a wrestling move.
No.
He was already over beyond anything. When he just stepped into the ring and took the mask off and looked at the crowd, and there was just this massive pop.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
For nothing. It was so, compared to the American crowd. I'm not being horrible. By contrast,
yeah.
I think it took him back.
We've touched on this before with the difference between American and British crowds. And speaking of which, my last one, which is my absolute favourite crowd interaction, is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, there are some people who... I just want to reiterate, because we've obviously talked about things on the Facebook page, and I did talk to one of my, I would say, good friends on the page. I think his name's Lee Spicer.
Yeah.
He loves Roman, and I think he saw it as a little bit disrespectful. I just want to say, Lee, it was a proper football banter.
Oh, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Pantomime.
Yeah.
There was no hate there.
Yeah, it wasn't
no
malice.
bad feelings behind
It was,
so.
and I think Roman knew it, and I think Roman loved it. At one point, he actually grabbed the mic. He grabbed the mic and went, Cardiff acknowledged me in the middle of the match. He absolutely fed off of it.
Yeah.
He thought it was great.
Yeah, the only other thing I could think of is Dominic Mysterio turning heel.
Yes.
I enjoyed it, mainly because it was a shock, and I could see him eventually saying to Ray he wishes Eddie was his dad. I can see that happening at some point in the future.
Is there anything to do with the mullet at all?
It could be, yeah. He just needs a little moustache now.
Moulet. He doesn't look like he can grow one at the moment, so if he needs a Sharpie, then... Because Dominic does listen to the podcast as well, we'll send one in the post, mate. Just give us your address.
I'm glad you enjoy it, Johnny. I can't get behind the Mysterio Judgment Day feud. It just isn't connecting.
Yeah,
with
I'm not a fan of the feud.
As much as you said
in the stadium, that gasp when he actually did it was amazing. It was the way everyone reacted to it. We in our row kind of knew. We were all going, he'll turn like that to each other.
All three of us were saying it, and I heard loads of people behind us going, he's going to do it, he's going to do it.
But no, I'm glad he did. I do think he's going to slowly turn into Eddie Guerrero. Rhea Ripley's going to turn into China. It'll be them two everything.
Can we acknowledge the fact of what she said on the Raw? Was it Raw afterwards?
Is it so?
I turned him into a man.
Yeah,
I was like,
thought
that came off a lot different than how it was meant to sound.
The guy who I listen to on YouTube, which I've told you about, we will mention him at one point. I'm not going to right now. Not cheap popping.
Right, Mick. Right here in James's living room.
I wish you'd have seen his reaction to it. He was like, "Ooh, what? Like that. You saw what he's like, and it was so funny. He went, "She did what?"
That's what I mean. Like they could have worded it so much different, but it came across like they'd done the biz.
Wasn't there something else to this? I read this, but I don't know if it actually happened or not. That, something about Dominic turned and said, "She beats me and I like it." I read this. I don't know if it actually happened. But she likes to beat me and I like it because I saw it and I don't know if I've actually if it happened or not. But I see it online afterwards. So. If anyone knows if Dominic likes to get beaten,
allegedly,
and he likes it,
it's fine. I think that is the type of TV 14 we're going to get. Maybe those sort of things being talked about more than the violence.
Yeah.
But
all in all, as far as pay-per-view stuff goes, that's my honourable mention, shall we say?
And then it was.
I mean, we could do the chant, couldn't we?
Oh, what? Do. Roman is a wanker. Do. Roman is a twat.
Yeah, I can't remember how it went. So it was fucking great. And it's very much a football chant. Yeah. I'm not going to say what team I support or have gone to see. It's very much used at the football ground that I go to. And I did go over to Stu. One of the funniest bits was I did go to Stu because Stu was going, what like that, and I went wanker like that. They're saying wanker like that, and then we joined in
for a split second there. I thought you were calling me it, and then I heard the crowd say like, "All right."
I was sat in the middle. I'm not getting involved in this. I'll go back to my old seat.
But it was really funny.
It was brilliant.
And also, that was miles louder than on TV.
Yeah.
What I've heard on Instagram, where it sounds like there's only a little group of people doing it, that's not true. It's a whole crowd.
That was the whole crowd were doing it.
It was nearly as loud at one point as the Drew McIntyre.
I forgot about that one.
Drew McIntyre.
Drew ate that up as well. I loved it when he come out and he was serious at first and he heard that and started dancing to it. Exercise.
I've just remembered the other chant. Who are ya? Who are ya? And then again, Drew got involved and even started saying it and pointing it at Roman Reigns as well. Just great interaction.
He was loving it. He almost pointed at him to say, "I told you this crowd was going to be bad."
Fair play to him. Absolutely fair play.
It was a great atmosphere in there.
It was good.
Now, James, what was the other bits you wanted to bring up?
Was this our tour of Cardiff?
Yeah, there's Swansea. So many. You guys, Swansea. You guys can mention some things. Not only was the pay-per-view eventful, for what we basically went on a road trip, as you guys saw from Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And some of the things that went on were fucking crazy.
Or some of the things that went wrong.
Yeah.
All I can do is apologise for my crappy phone.
So I'm actually gonna start at the end, and I'm gonna let the other guys and then chime in with let them give their side of it. Right. Basically, we had to stay in Swansea, and as anyone knows who travels up there, it was really hard to book in Cardiff. So.
It was nigh impossible.
Yeah,
very expensive.
We had to take an hour's detour to Swansea and then double back to come to Cardiff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what I think of Swansea.
I don't think you need to after that.
No.
Apologies to anyone that lives in Swansea.
I might edit that out.
That's about 20 viewers we've lost.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll edit this bit. How'd you not? With some of the stuff that went on, how'd you not? So anyway, right. Let me think where I was going to go. so I'm going near the end. Okay, so I'd like these guys to say we stayed in a hostel, guys. Basically, what I did was I saw that these guys were staying in pods, and I got myself a double room.
You paid the extra.
Yeah, I paid the
Upgraded.
extra, which was around about £30, and I stayed in my own room. These guys stayed alongside, I think, another 10 people at least in a room, basically, with loads of bunk beds in it.
Oh, they're pods. Yeah, pods built into walls.
Yeah.
Something.
And 6 bunk beds.
In the morning, I got up because we had arranged that we were going to go to about. I think we arranged that we were going to go about 7:30.
Yeah.
So I was up around about 10 to 7 odds, and I had a little jaunter around Swansea. I had a look around the castle. I smoked, so I was having a cigarette outside.
Viewing the sights.
Yes, I was viewing the sights, and I was waiting for Stuart and Jonny, and I text them from outside while having a cigarette, and basically they said they'll be down in a minute. So I went back up, and I wish I had a phone, guys. When they come out of the room, they looked 10 times more tired than when they went in, and they looked at me. They come out like zombies, like hobbling, and went, alright, like that, red-eyed, and I just burst. The guy was there, the guy who actually owned places behind him, and I just burst out laughing. I just went, what the fuck happened to you two? I don't know, I'll let them two take over. I have no idea.
As James explained, we were sleeping in these pods, basically.
Yes.
The pods, I will say, they were very comfy.
The mattress was very nice.
Very comfy. The pillow was very comfy. However, it was like sleeping in a fucking sauna.
Yes, with about 6 other sweaty men.
Not in the same bunk, I might add. Let's get that real clear. We weren't all in the same pod.
We were close enough.
It was very close. It was very, very close. But I
could feel your breath on my shoulders.
That's when I snuck in. But it was, I mean, it was an alright experience, but I probably wouldn't do it again. I'd definitely book a room.
Yes. Should we start from when we first arrived? When
we got to Swansea.
Yeah, because I'll take it from my point of view of you guys, just to interject. Obviously, what happened was the guy, I don't know if he's the manager or the overseer.
Yeah. Very polite.
Yeah,
very kind.
He took me off to go and have a look at my room. So I do not know.
We wondered where you went. I didn't know what was going on.
Do you want to do this, or do you want me to do this?
We have. You guys told me the story.
Yeah.
Well,
and
okay. Well, we went into like a common room lounge area.
Yeah.
Me, Stu went in there first. James was off doing his own thing with the manager.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
We was having a wonderful time.
Yes. And we walked in, and there was this.
We took a seat. Yeah.
We took a seat. Yeah. Yes. And there was this long-haired grey individual, German dude. Yes, looked like the guy from Cobra Kai.
Terry Silver.
Terry Silver. Yes. Yeah. And he was wandering around the kitchen, and he was looking for knives. It looked like he could try and find as many knives as he could possibly find, really. Yeah. He was looking in cupboards, high, low, everywhere. And he got them all on the table. He sat himself down. And then he brought out, like, some sort of electric grinder.
It was a steely rotator.
Yeah.
It's like he just brought it out of his pocket out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And just
got a portable
blade sharpener.
Yeah, a portable one, yeah.
And just proceeded to stare at us while he was sharpening his knife blades.
One by one, just sharpening them up. There was another guy in there as well, just sitting on the sofa.
He disappeared pretty quick after the knives came out, to be honest, mate.
To be fair, the way it looked to me, personally, was like the people who were in there actually had been part of the furniture for a long time, so to speak.
Yes.
It looked as if they had been there a long time.
Well, I'm not sure, but I'm going to get into that the following morning, so we'll get back to that.
Okay.
Yes. So he was shining up his knives, real sharp. We kind of left and did our own thing, and then shall I go to the next morning?
Yeah.
What happened during the night, Jonny? Because you told me that it's not bad.
No.
You told it's not any sexual innuendos. You told me a story that You imagine he's hearing something?
Oh, yeah, no. Right, so when we came back from the show, we walked into the room first, and the first thing we were greeted with was just this pair of legs sticking out, and the rest of the body was a cover, like a duvet, over the head and the top of the body. It was just these feet sticking out.
It just looked like someone had stuffed a mannequin under a bed.
It was very strange. And at this point, we didn't know how many people were in this room, so we got into our beds as quick as possible and tried to go to sleep. Just get our eyes closed, and that was it. I then remember waking up at some point, and I just heard this grinding noise, this sharpening noise coming from somewhere. I don't know if it was in the same bed as me, if it was across the pathway bit, or just somewhere else.
Or maybe your imagination of fear.
I definitely heard this.
I would just like to interject as saying that we are not exaggerating any of this. This is legitimately what happened.
I am 100% sure that these knives were being sharpened up again by this grinder and the long-haired, silver-haired man.
What, in the dark?
I don't know. Was in that same room. If it
I
was,
missed this. I was asleep at this
everyone
point.
else was asleep. The man's legs were still sticking out. That maybe was all that was left of him because maybe he got to him first.
However,
I think Stuart was near the toilet. Well, you know what happened there, Stuart?
well, Johnny was in the bunk, like the pod above me, and I'm pretty sure that because I mentioned this the following morning, and you said you didn't know anything about this. I woke up literally on the hour, every hour, because it was so fucking hot in there. And I woke up at one point and just to see, some dude in a pair of tighty whitey pants walk past and go to the toilet. And to what I then heard some unholiest of unholy noises coming from the toilet while this dude proceeded to have a crap.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night. And even with this guy having the door shut, I heard everything clear as day. It smelt so fucking bad when he came out of that toilet. I swear to God I could taste it. I'm not joking. Even to the point where, and I'd said before, like that room was so hot, and that made it worse. I had to pull to try and stifle the stench of this guy's rotten anus. I had to pull the covers over my head, which just made it worse because I was getting too hot and had to take the covers off.
It was a sweaty, smelly
It was just...
Because I woke up and I still had every bit of clothing on and I was sweating underneath this duvet as well.
Did you not get changed?
I just got in there as quick as possible.
I slept in my boxers and t-shirt and I was roasted.
Using a bit of shock, Johnny.
The t-shirt, hoodie still on with the hood up. Everything else on.
Honestly, mate, you are so lucky you didn't wake up at that point. That was...
But then the next morning... After all the grinding and everything that had been going on...
Whoa, hang on. Whoa. Blade grinding. Yes. Grinding on a steely, not of pelvic thrust movement.
I woke up at like 6, thinking everyone was still asleep. You were out cruising round.
I was having a jolly round Swansea Castle.
Yeah. I was having a whale of a time. I thought I'd be the last stop. I was so sprightly around. I had my hair fucking gelled up, and I was out.
Because you didn't have someone sharpening Freddy Krueger's glove and having the unholiest of dumps in the gateway to Hades.
I remember when we woke up, we just got out of there as quick as possible. But before getting out there, I remember sitting up on the bed, and opposite me, on the bed above, there was some other guy in his tight pants. This tight painted individual was there just looking and staring at me, and then looking back at his phone, and then staring at me again. I was just
basically what we
did you have them WWF pants that you wanted?
Probably, yeah.
I should have taken
them off him.
I'm pretty sure that we've just basically walked into a pants party, and I felt overdressed wearing a t-shirt.
I think we kind of got out of there.
Yeah, pretty quick.
Everyone was still sleeping, I think. Well, apart from the man looking at me in his pants.
First up then, you two in there.
Those legs were still sticking out of that duvet.
Oh yeah. We didn't fuck about, mate. We
come out of here.
Got dressed, done my teeth. Johnny went, "Do you want a squirt of this?" Gave me his deodorant. Let's go.
I had a feeling it didn't go well when I got the fucking messages back off Messenger, because I text and I thought maybe they're still asleep, and Johnny put, "I'm up, but I'm not sure about Stu," and then there was one come back instantly going, Actually, I am. So I don't know if those two were like.
The sad truth of the matter is, Johnny was less than 2 foot above me. So all I had to say was, "Yeah, I'm awake." But no, stupidly, I went, "Nah, fuck it, I'm texting. Yeah, I'm awake."
I had this feeling something was going on in there where it was a little bit fucking. You know.
When we left, those legs were still sticking out of that duvet.
I bet they're still there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I just wanted to also say a massive, massive thank you to Chris Perks.
Oh yeah, for the
breakfast, and everyone else that were, I think it was Mia and Richard who were on duty at the pub that we went to. A very good mate of mine, Chris Perks, who I used to work with years ago. So it turns out actually lives in Newport, and we had to go to Newport on the way home. So he said, call in and we'll get breakfast and we'll have a quick chat. What we didn't realise was the fact that the wonderful staff there, Chris and the manager Richard, actually paid for our breakfast, which was just the nicest end.
It was really, really
to a
nice.
shit night's sleep. That made up for everything.
It did.
Also, we have forgotten another strange occurrence that happens in the morning.
I just
I didn't get, and I was looking to you guys for clarification because I kept looking to you, Stu, and you kept going, fuck it, like that, like looking away. But there was a man.
Well, is this the one
very, very strange.
There was a man, and I think it was from your room.
He looked at me first and put his thumb up.
Yeah.
And I just ignored him.
I stuck my thumb up at him. I didn't even know him.
But I don't think he was there to begin with.
No.
I think no one was there to begin with.
Do you think that this guy was just hiding away somewhere and gave us a thumbs up of saying, fair play, you got out.
You got out.
Yeah.
And then he got pulled back into the shadows by the hairy knife man. Tied up with his hair. But yeah, I don't think anyone was there. I think it was all just... I think it was haunted, maybe.
I'm pretty sure that we're going to wake up in about 20 minutes' time and we're still there.
It was still there.
Yeah, it was all a dream, Dallas style.
Also, I'd just like to point out, because we've got so many memories, and I'm sure that everyone's probably finding this quite funny because they do like our tangents. So, there was one instance when we were on the way home.
Is this the walk? Or
no,
okay.
You guys could do
we'll
that
go back
one
to that
because
one.
that one's epic, right? There was an instance on the way when we were in the car. Johnny was quite tired. He'd had a bit of a headache. He was just
I was struggling.
Yeah, he was struggling.
Sleepwalking
and
through
Stu
Cardiff.
was driving
angrily.
Yeah. And we were at the red light and everything. So I just peered to the right of me out and I was just looking at what was going on, because let's be honest, there's nightlife that goes on. But
you don't expect UFC nightlife.
No. So
I missed all of this.
There was a group of 3 lads just walking along, and then one of them, who I've got some martial arts training. I will say that. I won't go into what, but one of them did a beautiful judo throw, textbook, and he was pissed as well on this guy who must have been about 6'2". This guy weren't big. Who did it?
He's about my side.
What, the guy who did it?
No, the guy that got flipped.
The guy who was tall and fucking big. And this guy went down with a fucking right foot on the concrete, and he didn't move, right? And I'm sitting there watching, and I'm thinking, is that guy actually alright? Like, I'm thinking, fuck.
It was massively worrying.
And this guy's not moving, and while this guy is probably seriously injured from this throw, the fucking guy's gone after the other one.
Yeah.
And he's trying, and that one of it had a bit of training, so he put his foot in between, so he's the other guy's legs to make sure he didn't get fucking thrown. But these guys were just carrying it on. Yeah. And gradually I watched this guy, and he did move, but he moved as if he had either a broken hip, lying and rolling around, or a broken spine. These guys just ignored him. And I just sat there and I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? It was mental.
Quite scary.
And then we just drove off.
And then we just carried on.
We just got the fuck out of there real quick. As soon as we saw the guy get up and that he was okay, we went. Thankfully for the green light.
Something funny. The thing is, there were so many funny things happened that they sort of blurred. There was something funny happened with the police. We went past the pub and they stopped the car in front of Stuart and asked asked as if it was his fault.
Yeah.
Something like that happens, and they just run out in front of the car. I can't explain it unless you were there, guys. There was a guy lying on the floor outside the shop.
Dressed up to the nines, right?
He was dressed up, and he was in his 60s.
Just casually asleep on the floor.
And he was
in the
asleep,
rain.
and it was really raining. And I know, like, there's people, unfortunately, who are homeless, but this guy did not look like that. This guy just looked like he had decided
to run out of that hostel.
Yeah, and just go like. Just decided to fucking like go right. I'm going for a kidnap and lay in the middle of the town.
However, the last one that I'm going to bring up before we go into the news, and we are going to have to wrap this one real quick for the news. For the story is my crappy phone, and it's not even a crap phone. It's quite a decent phone. When we first got to the car park, which was 3-minute walk away, as we found out on the way back, we followed the sat nav to the hostel. Unfortunately, my sat nav just decided to freak out and take us on a 45 fucking minute walk.
Well,
over 2 bridges, a river,
some
up
boats
the steepest hill known to mankind.
God.
I don't even know why that was so steep.
There's no
It didn't
reason
even need to
for it.
be.
Because when we started walking up there, I went, fuck me, these steps are steep. And then there was
the steps from The Exorcist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there was another hill that was even worse.
Then there was a dead end at the top.
That's what was even more annoying.
Yeah, we had to come back down.
My sat nav's taking us up there, and I'm going, it's all right. We'll get out to the top there. We get up the top there, and it's fucking 8-foot walls.
The thing is, there was a sofa in the middle of the hill. I reckon some people have put that there, knowing people are going to walk up it and need to stop halfway.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was a couple of Highland sheep up there at one point as well. You know, 3 mountaineers from the 1940s.
Yeah. But fucking hell. So basically, what happened with Stu's phone, which we found out, was that we had walked the opposite way.
We went out the back entrance.
We went out the back entrance of the multi-storey car park instead of the front. So the phone went haywire and took us on a guided tour of Swansea around the whole outskirts, the longest way round.
Yeah.
Instead of basically telling us it was across the road.
3 minutes. 3 fucking minutes.
I'm not kidding. We were noticing stuff that was like 10 minutes drive away in the car when we were going there. Like we were going, oh yeah, there's that Sainsbury's we passed about 10 minutes ago. We were fucking miles away.
We passed 2 Tesco's.
Yeah. Pretty sure it's the same one.
Yeah, probably.
We went over 2 lovely bridges. I mean, there was some
gorgeous bridges.
Yeah, there was
some stunning sights we saw.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we were supposed to be in the town centre, guys, but we were actually crossing the river. I don't know what river it is down there.
Oh, no clue.
Maybe like part of the River Severn. Is
River
it the
of
River
Babylon.
Severn? I don't know.
Might as well have been.
Yeah, but we were fucking down there.
Fucking ridiculous.
There with the boats. We were in the boating area at one point.
At one point, I thought we were going to get on a boat and sail into Cardiff.
Yeah, I think you said that, didn't you?
Yeah, you did, actually, yeah. But so there ends our
it was fucking
our little jollies around Swansea and our slightly long tangent about the weird and wonderful shite that we saw while we were in Swansea.
But we made it.
But we made it back home.
Just one more thing, which I wish, and it's such a regret of mine, because Stu was so pissed off with his phone that he kept saying, "Fuck this, I'm going to get a taxi." Like when we get to the hotel, I'm going to get a taxi and all this. I wish we would have called a taxi because it was literally across the road, the car. If the taxi would have turned up, it wouldn't have even needed... I mean, it would have just started the engine, rolled a little way, stopped and gone, there you go, that's £6, lad. It was that close, guys.
Words cannot describe how fucking angry I was.
I wish we'd have called a fucking taxi.
Absolutely fucking fuming. Anyway,
me and Jonny were looking at each other laughing. I was on the waves. I knew that something was up.
I was still pissed off. Right? I can laugh about it now, and even when I explained this to my other half, Kayla, when I got home, I was still fucking angry. Still fucking angry. I can laugh about it now, but I was so pissed off. Anyway, let's get to our final segment
There we go.
The news.
The news. Dun, 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 dun.
I've got some bad news.
I've got some bad news.
We should record that.
I'm telling you, we need to get a bad news Barrett.
We'll get Trevor McDonald.
Who?
Is it Trevor McDonald?
Trevor McDonald. I was trying to think there. No, it's pretty sure it was Bad News Barrett.
Yeah, Bad News Trevor.
I'm pretty sure we all know the big story at the moment, which is obviously Punk versus the Elite and everyone else.
Yes.
Should we keep this as short as possible?
I don't know how we're going to. All I'm going to say is listen to episode 8, guys, at the end of it, because
James
I was
called it
going
again.
on about it, and I just said, I hope this is a work from Punk, because if it's not, the AEW are in a world of shit. There are a lot of people out there who are actually saying this is good for AEW.
No.
I assure you it's not.
It ain't. It really is.
The drama is WCW at its end-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love CM Punk.
Same here. Massive fan.
But I can't help but see how bitter he comes across with all of this. In a way, he reminds me of the 2002-2003 Hulk Hogan. He had this massive return. Everyone loved him. Huge reactions everywhere he went. He started disappearing. He wasn't happy due to his creative. And then he started falling out with the boss.
Yeah.
And it's almost kind of the same sort of thing, in a way. It's just... And part of me still feels that some of this speech that he did at the media scrum was actually planned, because a week or so prior, he actually mentioned that the media scrum is going to be really interesting. And I just feel like he planned the whole thing. I felt like he's the sort of person that would stand in front of his bathroom mirror and go over and over his lines, perfecting it and knowing what to say.
It's really, really sad. I heard certain words in there like, I'm a grown-ass adult, I'm sorry, I disagree. I think it was one of the most childish things I've ever seen. The disrespect, and also Tony Khan, pull your finger out. There were at times where CM Punk was actually taking your questions, mate, and it's your company. Like, there was times where I think there was one point which was one of the main points that I picked up on, where someone asked a question and he said he's not qualified, or he doesn't need to answer that question because he doesn't know enough, or something like that. And Tony Khan looked at Punk as if to go, really, motherfucker? I mean, I think that was really the dawning on Tony Khan. Hang on a minute, I've got a real problem here. Khan should not have let that go ahead.
It should have been stopped.
Yeah.
Should have been nipped in the bud straight away. That scrum should never have happened.
They're now looking at obviously getting the legal team involved, and I just feel like it's pretty obvious that the conclusion will be both Punk and the Elite are in fault with all of this. They fault the Elite shouldn't have gone in there and got involved. Punk shouldn't have gone off the way he did. It's just a big mess.
The problem is, everyone knows my views on Punk. They know that I've been very careful. And I've said, all the time, it's like almost the same. I've said, I am a massive fan. I like Punk. I was worried about this, and anyone can listen back to episode 1 from there. This has always been in my mind with CM Punk, and it's always been a worry. I just wish he'd concentrate on the great talents that he's got instead of wasting them on stupid, childish bullshit.
I think this is going to damage him in the long run, even if he does.
He's done.
Back.
I think he's done. I'm sorry. Even his lawless fans, some of them can't just going, I've had enough.
I'm struggling as well.
He's not a likeable person.
I will quite honestly say, I think out of all of us here, I'm probably the biggest Punk fan. I am so disappointed with all this.
Yeah.
Really, really am disappointed. I honestly don't know what I can say about this. Just that I'm... it's shit, man. It really is shit.
The thing is, if he does come back, I can't see him being cheered. I think
I also can't see it working behind the scenes. No. What are they going to do? Separate them like a school playground?
Do you know what? I was literally about to say it. This whole thing, it's coming across like school school playground tactics.
I feel like they can't even sack him because it's going to be unfair dismissal.
Yeah,
he'll sue the shit out of the company.
Unfortunately, CM Punk's signature manoeuvre is becoming lawsuits.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, I'm not even laughing because I find it really sad because I look back at all the Elite Wrestling, I look at what those pillars tried to do, what the Elite tried to do, what John Moxley, which I'll let these guys talk about, tried to do, and I see one man going into business for himself. I'm sorry, that's the way I see it.
The one thing that I wanted to bring up is what you pointed out earlier on about the whole MJF thing and what this has done.
In terms of
that return.
It ruins it.
Yeah, it's been overshadowed.
It ruins MJF's return. Yeah. MJF's return would... I'll be totally honest with you. You know my thoughts on AEW. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Right? When I got up the next day, the first thing I saw, all I saw, was CM Punk shoots in media scrum, and I had to go to the depths of the internet to find out that MJF had come back.
Same here on Twitter.
I didn't even know.
The Elite, Matt, Nick Jackson.
It's a shame because everyone was looking forward to this. This was going to be a big thing, him coming back, and it's just been completely overshadowed.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's going to be any good coming out of this.
And also, guys, because there's been a lot of stuff said. Of course, the Elite were wrong in certain things that they did, and from what we hear, I'm not sure the Elite done anything but wanted a heated discussion because. All I've heard is Ace still threw a chair, Ace still bit this person, CM Punk threw hands.
Kenny Omega took the dog out of the room.
Yeah, apparently he looked after CM Punk's dog.
Not Larry.
Yes. Kenny Omega run over and his first thought was the poor dog.
It's just the big best.
I'm done with it.
Well, in my opinion, I think the heroes of the story are Cody for getting out before things blew up.
Absolutely.
I agree.
The rest of the roster for still going out there and still doing what they do best with all this drama going on.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho for standing up in the locker room and trying to just take control of what's been happening.
Fair play, Chris.
And John Moxley, who in my opinion, after what he said this past week on Dynamite, I feel like he's the heart and soul of AEW.
I totally agree. Yeah. It's like John Moxley actually went there to help the company, to help himself, but to build a company. CM Punk, there's been rumours about him going into business for himself, and all these backstage things being Tony Khan's little best friends and all these things. And I'm afraid that what you saw at that media scrum spoke volumes.
It's real CM Punk coming out. Yeah, I just liked it when John Moxley came out on Dynamite and he just reminded everyone what the company set out to do, saying how passionate he is and how much love he has for this company, that he and everyone dedicated their lives to help build.
Yes, that's right.
And that neither he or the rest of the locker room would allow a bunch of idiots to damage the company beyond repair.
That's right.
Good on him.
Yeah, I want AEW to succeed through these dark days.
So do I.
I feel like a wrestling company needs its loyal workers. Moxley has been there from the very beginning while battling his own demons that he defeated himself.
Yeah.
I feel like the next steps will be really interesting, and I really hope they make it through and become better for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you, mate. I do. But again, my worry still stems that it's almost like we're following on an episode as if we saw it or knew about it from episode 8 because me and Stu were talking about this last time. We were saying about how this EVP thing, no wrestlers should be EVPs. No active wrestlers. William Regal is there. Jim Ross is there. Arn Anderson is there. Right.
Even Dean Malenko.
I'm a little bit concerned with Dean because of the way that CM Punk talks. Because CM Punk was talking as if these were... I'm so wary of Punk now. Like some of the names he mentioned, I thought, okay, they're on your side then. That's how I am with him. I don't trust him. I could see... Jim Ross, I know he's getting on now. This is a guy who ran talent relations when The Rock was there.
Yeah.
Triple H, Kurt Angle, Steve Austin. He kept all those egos in check, and they said what a wonderful job he done. Tony Khan fucking use him, mate. Honestly, fucking use him.
Get these fucking egos in check.
Yep. No wrestler should be in charge of anything. Nothing like that.
Just
EVP or anything.
Sort this shit out, because otherwise it's going to end your fucking run.
I just think the next few months are going to be very interesting.
It's going to be vital.
It's going to either sink or swim.
Yeah.
It seems to be getting shorter. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple of episodes back I said AEW got the next 2 years will define what AEW is.
And it's mad.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad that less than a month ago that we were talking about this. You know, worst case scenarios. And then 4 weeks later, look at the shit state it's in.
Well, me and you were talking about this Punk situation last week, and I didn't really want to go into it. I said about this is all over Colt Cabana, if you remember, that they see him as a mentor. That's turned out to be right.
Yeah.
That they're not happy with the way that he's been treated.
Some people are saying that CM Punk got Colt Cabana sent to Ring of Honor because he didn't want him around on the same shows as him.
Yes. Yeah. We were talking about it last episode. That's what I find so freaky, because most of the time you hope that these things don't transpire.
Yeah.
And that things are professional enough backstage where it wouldn't happen. But fuck me, it did.
Yeah.
And
egos have just taken over.
CM Punk did not just go at the elite guys. I think people need to listen back, because he went at other people as well. He went at MJF. He said that what did he say? He said something along the lines of the grass isn't greener on the other side. And he's a little prick who thinks he knows everything and best.
And Tony keeps giving me these idiots to work with.
Yeah, and he said something like, unfortunately, I can't remember the words he used to say about like how this place was growing or a wonderful place, but he basically said like he shits where he eats instead of whatever the nice thing was about it. In a press, why is he doing that? Why is he doing it next to the boss?
Yeah.
What's the matter with the
boss?
boss?
Why is the boss letting him do it?
And how egotistical was it then, after causing that shitstorm and knowing he'd done it, to promote that bakery?
Yeah, and the reviews on the bakery are amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we have to laugh.
Funny ones out there.
I'm really concerned.
Yeah.
I'm concerned for the company, and you know, I know the elite are at fault, but I look back at how they've established the company, how they had a lot to do with it, and
there is no one single person at fault here. It's a mass collective.
I think there's, unfortunately, Stu, I would agree with you, but I think there's one individual now that is extremely poisonous, it seems. And
I agree with you there.
And controversy seems to follow this individual wherever he goes.
Yeah.
If CM Punk is released, could you ever see him going back to the WWE?
No, I don't think they touch him.
You don't think they bring him back just for one big WrestleMania main event?
No.
Would I? No.
I can't see it happening.
No.
Anyway, shall we go on to a lighter topic? Let's go with something that's a lot more happier. Mickie James.
Great career.
Absolutely phenomenal career.
We spoke about it a little while ago, the Trish Stratus match. WrestleMania.
She's obviously announced and has already started her last rodeo tour, which is her win or retire series of matches. As far as I'm aware so far, that one is done. She's had one match, and she will be coming on to the next very soon, I do believe. I personally just want to say thank you to Mickie James for having such an amazing and entertaining career.
Yeah, she's been fantastic.
When did she start? That match with Trish at WrestleMania was
2006.
Yeah, so it wasn't long before then she was really...
Was it a 21 or 22?
22.
Yeah, because 21 was Chrissy Hemme.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, just a phenomenal career, an absolute trailblazer for not just WWE's women's division, but every, the TNA Knockouts division, the Impact women's division. She's just been a catalyst for women's wrestling.
Yeah, she's been excellent.
Absolutely excellent.
And she's married to
Nick
Aldis.
Yeah. There are rumours that she's been seen around King's Lynn. That's where he lives.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah,
fantastic. Any other news anyone wants to bring up?
I don't know that there's anything that's really been going on apart from that. I mean, we've had Braun Strowman return.
Yeah. Destroying all the tag teams.
Oh yeah. One other one that I wanted to bring up as well was the absolutely phenomenal ending to the Miz's recent cage match.
Oh, with the meme of all memes, yeah.
I think at the moment Triple H's use of Dexter Lumis has been brilliant.
It was great.
Absolutely brilliant.
Whoever come up with that camera angle,
I need an Emmy award.
Done, where it started at the top and then done this like little half circle and zoomed down.
It was absolutely brilliant.
It was really good.
And I'm really hoping that this concludes into something pretty good.
The only thing I'd have liked more for him to do was to put a thumbs up. Because that would have been amazing.
Or just, straight up at the camera.
Just put a thumbs up at the Miz. As if, just to blur the lines of it. Yeah. That's his MO as well, and I would have loved that.
Out of curiosity, but have any of you guys checked out his artwork?
It's fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
No.
He is an amazing.
He does caricatures, and they're absolutely amazing.
Phenomenal artist.
I'll have a look at that.
Yeah,
it's going on his Instagram page. There is absolutely loads of his work on.
When he first started, that was how he used to do a promo.
Yeah.
He used to. I think there was one promo where they sped it up, and it was of the Undisputed Era, and it was of him basically kidnapping with someone else.
He did one when he was having his feud with Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory as well, which obviously then led to the marriage of Index. It's brilliant.
I think he's great. I think he's a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely brilliant.
I think he's funny. He's one of these people that obviously he's okay in the ring, he's good, but he's one of these people that really doesn't need to wrestle. He could be just walking about around backstage messing about.
I thought he was great on Impact when he was it Samuel Shaw? I think he was wrestling under the name.
I don't think I saw him on Impact. I wasn't really watching much at the time, I don't think.
I tell you what I really liked him on. I don't know if anyone's seen it. Has anyone seen the...
America's Most Wanted?
Has anyone seen the Johnny Gargano interview where it's at a WrestleCon and he's in the crowd and they call him up and he just has the New York Times newspaper,
right,
or a wrestling... I think he has that at first, and he has a wrestling magazine, and someone looks over and they go, "Oh, Roman Reigns you're looking at," and he stays in character. He just looks at them and goes,
"Thumbs up."
Yeah, thumbs up is what I'm doing. And the whole time in this, it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be an actual just real people. He stays in character, and it is class. It's so funny. If you get a chance, look it up. It's about the last 6 minutes.
Right.
It's an hour long, but he comes on and he sits there and he's there, but he does nothing.
Yeah.
But you can't help but
it's
watch
just a
him.
looming presence.
Yeah, you can't help but watch him. He's just reading a magazine. Because he sees Johnny Gargano and he just looks at him and goes, again, thumbs up, walks along to the other sofa, sits down and starts reading a magazine. He says nothing. I think he's great. I think he's breath of fresh air. I think he's got a similar thing to Danhausen, really. I do.
My boy!
You know, where he is comedic relief. It's a kind of strange comedic relief.
It's different,
it's
isn't
good.
it? Yeah.
I like him, yeah.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman, I don't know what to make of it.
I don't know. He returned on Raw and then he fell over, didn't he? Did you see that?
Yeah,
yes,
I must say, everyone laughed, but I'll tell you what, he hell of a recovered well.
He did,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because
I will admit, I was slightly worried for Chad Gable's shin.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if he tried to chop block and get back up at one point, the way it was... Because it was kind of fluid, wasn't it, the way he went down and got back up?
I'm not a massive fan of him, to be honest. I didn't mind him for a short period of time. I think like 2016 or 17.
When he broke away first singly, I liked him.
But I just don't know. I think he's been...
I felt he got humanised too much.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting what they do with him.
Like that piss poor WrestleMania tag team one.
Oh, that was awful. Everyone was so excited of who that mystery thing was going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Was that the Nicholas one?
Yeah. But nice for the kids.
Yeah.
But I just don't know, because you had Omos, the big monster guy, who's just kind of been pushed aside now. Braun Strowman's come back. Unless they're building for them two to have a match, but then it ain't going to be that great.
We'll see.
I think when you look at Omos, you have to sort of kind of appreciate that Strowman is actually quite good.
Yeah, he is.
Pacey for his size, that's for sure.
Well, he is pretty good in the ring. If you think back, he can main event.
He's good at taking a hell of a punch from Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That's true.
Calm down.
I did it though with the Omos.
We had. Were you here when I had that problem?
You had that problem.
I don't know if you were at that episode, but I couldn't fucking get it. I had to keep using both. Oh, another thing about Wales, I'd just like to bring up on a little tangent, guys, is how weird it was at times that there were two languages going on when someone was speaking.
Oh, yeah.
Like, saying the elevator.
Oh, yes.
Like, it sounded like we were in Japan.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kai and Tai.
Yeah.
Indeed.
No, that's what we all kept hearing when they were saying, doors closing. And it kept sounding like Kai and Tai.
Yeah, when like, and I was like, are we in Japan? It's like really weird.
The hostel took us to another place.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm all done with the news.
Yeah, I think...
Is there anything that's happened?
I've not got anything else written down.
We've got, obviously, Triple H taking over Raw, and Raw seems to be improving, and same as SmackDown.
Yeah,
I think it's just moseying on, isn't it? I think
you can see the NXT influence
coming
through.
I mean, we could talk a little bit about Worlds Collide just quick. I mean, that was on. I mean, I won't take too long on my love for Tyler Bate. Please call him up. He's so fucking good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bron Breakker, you don't like him, do you?
I'm not overly fussed, to be honest.
I was the same, and then I watched him in there with Bate, and I was really impressed.
I don't mind him.
I just see too much of his dad and his
I thought he was really, really impressive.
I'll give it a whirl. I'll watch it.
I think you'll be quite shocked.
Yeah.
I'll
give it a go.
I didn't think he was that good.
I think it's just what put me off was the match he had with Ciampa for.
I thought he was just one of those like
really sloppy
3 or 4 move people.
Yeah.
And that didn't seem to be the case.
I'll watch it. I'll have a look.
He's still quite new as well, and he hasn't been.
He's only 24.
Yeah. Give it time.
Right.
What's so scary is, like going back just quickly to Tyler Bate, is when they showed the tail of the tape, like Tyler Bate had been going since he was 19, and he was only 1 year older. I was
shocked at that when you told me.
Yeah, and he was only 1 year older at 25 than Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
And it was like, fucking hell, how much experience has this guy got?
I was actually going to pick him on the last episode that I weren't on. It was Tyler Bate versus Walter was one of my picks.
If you want to leave that, Johnny, I am up for doing a live. If we can get it working, I would do that as a special thing.
No, we can do, yeah.
Yeah, but you see, I nearly picked that match that you were talking about, but I thought if I pick that, I've got 3 NXT UK matches on the takeover thing. That was takeover Cardiff, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, and he was only 22 in that match as well.
What, UK ones?
Yeah. No, both of mine were NXT, but not UK's.
They were both on takeovers, mine, but they were for the UK title because they were such good matches.
I can't remember my other 2 I picked.
Me versus Jones.
Yeah. It's good, man.
I know. Still waiting for my Hall of Fame ring.
It's funny you mentioned that because
Because you ain't getting it, bitch.
Me and my fiance, you'd be surprised. Me and my fiance were looking at that last night. Those rings.
Fair play.
But I'll tell you what. Next episode, guys. By the way, just to let you know, we will be. I imagine doing a video. Videos are going to start to come out.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we are going to have mystery gifts that we have all bought each other. Now, there is a budget on these mystery gifts, and the idea of these is supposed to be to think of the individual and to buy the worst thing that you can think of, wrestling memorabilia,
basically,
or merchandise-wise.
Shit stuff to do with wrestling.
Yeah.
The worst thing that you can find.
And I'm pretty sure we've all fucking nailed it.
Yeah, so one of mine is just, I know it's just going to be so funny when the individual opens it. And the other one is just going to confuse the individual. I have shown one of mine to one of the individuals, which is Stu. I have shown him Johnny's one. And Stu, what do you think of my one? Just this little thing. It is so weird.
Just really weird.
I reckon that is the only one in existence.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if there's any more.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Very, very, very surprised.
I don't think you will be, to be honest with you. If you wear that, right, I will be so shocked.
I think there's going to be a lot of people going, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. No, I think everyone will know what it is. I think everyone will know what it is. Any hardcore wrestling fan, as soon as Johnny opens that, will know what it is. One
thing we do need to announce is obviously our next topics.
Yes, indeed we do. Right, so our next topics for our next show, which is episode 10...
Double figures!
Will be the top 3 worst gimmick matches ever. And there's a lot out there.
This is going to be fun.
There is a lot out there.
We had, just to say, we had a lot of time in the car.
We did.
Coming back on the way home.
Yeah.
And I think most of us, I did for sure, pick my 3 as we were all discussing it.
Yeah.
I've got 2 of mine. I've still got one more to come.
I've got 2 already.
Yeah. I've got all mine, and you guys know what they are.
Yeah. We've got the top 3 worst gimmick matches. Yeah. And just the side topic, with Triple H taking over the WWE and running the day-to-day things. Obviously had a great career beforehand, and we're going to pick the best and worst moment of Triple H's career. Could be a match, could be an interview, could be a promo, could be a return,
film,
could be even a film, could be anything at all. Worst, you could possibly pick Katie Vick, but
I've got worse than that. Trust me, mine's way worse.
But so we've got those coming up.
I know what yours is. Just by what you say.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
And then
I do.
Obviously, as we do at the end of every episode, we'll be covering the news.
Yes. Breaking news.
Bad news. Just before we finish, I just wanted to give a quick shout out, and it's for someone that's just given us a hell of a lot of support. Constantly shares everything we do and gets involved constantly as well. Quick shout out to Lorna DeMarco Pettigrew. Thanks ever so much for everything that you've been doing as well, for sharing, like I said, everything that we've been doing constantly on Facebook and on Twitter. It's massively, massively appreciated by all of us.
Yeah, there are certain people within that group that are the heart and soul of the group, and we appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
we love
massively.
You.
And two last ones is obviously congratulations again to Rob Shepherd, the winner of our giveaway this month. And as always, a massive thank you for the guys over at 3 Count Wrestling Merchandise. Thanks for everything that you've done for us as well, man.
Indeed.
Thanks ever so much to all of our listeners, and to James and Jonny.
Oh, thank you, Stu. Thank you very much.
Thank you
all.
So there we go. There ends episode 9.
Yes. We got there in the end.
We did, even with technical difficulties.
This was as big a journey as Wales.
It was,
yes. Oh, fucking hell, wasn't it? Yeah.
And we did get lost for 45 minutes in between.
Yep.
Yeah, I won't go there again. Thanks a lot, everyone, for
thank you.
tuning in, and
keep a lookout for my artwork that'll be coming for the next episode.
And we'll see you at some point. We'll see you at some point next month for a video where we unwrap all of our shit presents.
Yes, and I imagine you will probably see us for a live.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We have got to sort that out.
Yeah,
because me and Jonny are on it. We're trying to sort out getting all of us together on a live.
Yeah,
we'll get it sorted.
Better.
We'll get it sorted eventually.
Than just one of us.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Otherwise it's just going to be one of us there.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks a lot as always, guys.
Yes, thank you very much.
And we'll see you all next month. See you later.
Bye bye.
Bye, guys.
Peace.